Alright guys, so here we are for round 7 of season 1 of the F1 2017 career mode here for the Canadian Grand Prix. As you can see, we're currently 8th in the championship with our teammate Daniel Kvyat in 13th place at the moment. And starting off here in practice, like always, you can see we have dry conditions here for the start of this weekend here in Canada. And as always, we'll be looking to gather the resource points here in practice, starting off with the track acclimatization, getting the purple score there in our second lap. So that's always a nice start to the weekend when you can do the practice program for the track acclimatization with a purple score. Now moving on to the tire wear saving program, and we'll be looking to complete that as well as we now come through the final chicane. And yeah, coming into this weekend, I was quite looking forward to it. Canada is a circuit which I quite like. It's not my favorite one, but it's a circuit I enjoy driving around. So yeah, I think we can maybe get a solid points finish in this race again, as we now come to the end of the tire wear test. You can see getting the purple score there as well. So far in early practice we are on the pace, and now doing the fuel saving test. I just about got the green score there. I slowed down before the line to try and get the fuel back into the purple zone, but unfortunately I wasn't able to in the end. Now moving on to the race strategy program, you can see I got the red score on my first lap, but now on my second lap I managed to get the green score, and then in my third lap I am currently pushing on the delta there. It's very close, but it is currently in the green. As you now skip to the end of my third lap, we managed to get the green score again. So that's a green score for the race strategy program, but I wanted the purple score, so I pushed on for this fourth lap. I managed to complete that as well. So that's a purple score for the race strategy program as well. And we are currently in 19th place in the session because of course we haven't done any qualifying runs yet. So yeah, we are still yet to do that as we let Lance Stroll go past there. So yeah, returning back into the garage, you can see 12 minutes remaining here in practice 2. Here you can see the team objectives as well, which we'll be looking to achieve. And yeah, we will actually doing the race strategy program again, because you saw there one of the team objectives was to make an inverted strategy, I think. So we had to do the race strategy program on 2 different compounds of tires. So here I'm doing it for a second time now on the ultra soft tires. And yeah, that is gonna give us some extra resources for the team achievements. So you can see our engine is actually smoking a little bit. You can see it on the straight here as well, because we are running with the first engine column for those first 2 practice sessions of the weekend. But the engine was actually wearing out quite a bit, which made some smoke coming out of the back of our car. So yeah, we managed to complete it as well on the ultra soft tires. Now we're gonna do the qualifying pace. You can see there is not enough time to actually complete the program, although there is enough time to do 1 lap. So theoretically we do have enough time to complete it if we can do it a good lap straight away. So coming out of the pits now, you can see there is about I think 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. So we will make it to the line with still time to make 1 flying lap. You can see the engine there on the bottom right of your screen. It is very worn indeed, especially the MGUK. So starting off our qualifying lap now, coming through the chicane corner, we actually turn in too early, and that's us out of practice. So that was a very stupid mistake by me there. You can see here on the replay, I just turned in too early, way too early. I don't know what I was thinking there. I just completely misjudged the turn there and plowed it into the wall, lost both of my front tires. And yeah, so that's practice 2 over, I think. So I actually didn't do any running in practice 1 because I forgot to change the engine components, and I didn't want to waste fresh engine components in the first part of practice. You can see how worn the engine is. We're now going to change to the second engine column for the final practice sessions to try and achieve the qualifying pace program and also the fuel saving program, because we only got the green score for that. So for this final practice session we will use the second engine component, which is a little bit fresher. So here we are now in practice 3. You can see I managed to pass the qualifying pace program and the fuel saving program with ease, getting the purple score for both of those programs. And so that's pretty much the end of practice. Returning it back into the pits now, and yeah, we have now managed to pass all of the practice programs. So we've managed to gather some very good data to build upon on this weekend. You can see here all the practice programs are purple, and we managed to get all of the team objectives as well. So pretty much a perfect practice for us. getting 275 out of the 275 resource points. So yeah, that's the end of practice. We're now going to go into qualifying. You can see we ended up in 9th place, with our teammate actually on the pace as well in 7th place. So yeah, Toro Rosso is looking to suit this track very well as well. So yeah, that's the end of practice. Now we're going to return into the hospitality in the paddock to yeah, change our engine components as well, because we're going to use the 3rd column now for qualifying and the race, just to get the most out of the car, you know, in qualifying and the race. So we're going to use a pretty much fresh engine. It's not completely fresh, but definitely below 30%. So yeah, starting off in qualifying 1, of course, doing the 3 qualifying sessions for this weekend. So I think my aim should be to at least make it through into Q3 to start in the top 10, because so far I think my best qualifying result of the season is actually 10th place, which we got in Russia. So yeah, that should be very achievable, considering we've been on the pace all weekend pretty much so far this weekend. So here we go now, starting our first lap in Q1, currently coming through the middle sector, and it seems like the car is actually suiting this track quite well as well, because my teammate Daniel Kvyat has also been on the pace just like me so far in this weekend. So hopefully we can both manage a good qualifying result here in the build up to the race. As you know, come to the end of our first lap in this qualifying session, and we currently go 10th place, and at the end of the session that was enough. We ended up in 10th as well, and Kvyat managed to just about scrape through as well in 15th place. So now moving on to Q2, coming to the end to end my first lap of the session, currently puts us in P4, and at the end of the session that was just about enough as well, ending up in P9 there. Kvyat actually didn't make it through. He ended up in P12. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him. But anyway, here we are now in the final shootout session in Q3, coming through the final chicane there, running that wide onto the curbs, as Kimi Räikkönen currently sets the fastest lap of the session. We now come over the line. We go P4 again with a 1 minute 12.6, I think. But I still wanted to push on for the second lap again, flying through the final chicane corner, opening the DRS now for the run to the line. We have fallen down into P6, but can we improve as we now come up to the line? Yes, we're going to P5, improving our time by a few tenths there. But again, I wasn't done. I wanted to improve again. I still had enough fuel in the car. So now coming through the final chicane once again, back into 5th gear, flying over those curves there, running it out wide onto the curb, opening the DRS now for the run to the line. We'll improve on our time again as we now come up to the line, and we're going to P3 there. So that was a very good lap from us there, 1 minute 11 point something. And that marks the end of my first run in qualifying. You can see currently everyone is in the pits with 3 minutes remaining. And currently we are in 3rd position, which is absolutely outstanding for a Toro Rosso there. Now with 1 minute 40 remaining, we have to hurry up a bit to get one final lap in. I have changed my tires to a fresh shed and have reduced the fuel load as well to make us as light as possible. But you can see there, I got a warning for insignificant time left in the session, which is very interesting because you can see in the top right, about 1 minute 11 remaining. A lap takes about 1 minute 11 to do, so coming out of the pits here, we have to do pretty much a qualifying lap on our out lap here to still be able to make it. It was quite a stupid mistake by me to wait so long in the session, and you can see now coming up to the line, I actually ran out of time. So that's very, very frustrating. It was very stupid by me. It was just a bad timing. I didn't time it correctly, but can't really complain because we are still in 3rd position with a 1:11.8, I think, I want to say. But we're only at 10 behind pole position, so I think with a fresh set of tires and low fuel, we could have improved by a few tenths. So I wouldn't say we would have got pole position, but I think I would have the potential to do it, because my fastest lap was set with a set of tires that had already done 3 laps. So that's a bit frustrating. Of course, the tire wear isn't that high around Canada, so you can get away with it. Maybe I wouldn't have improved by that much.
I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
And yeah, Emma as well giving us the race goals as well, which is to finish in 9th place or higher. So I was running on a little bit too much about qualifying, but anyway. Yeah, it's time to go into the race now and head off for the starting grid for the 7th round of this season. So let's get into it.
It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth.
You've done incredibly well. You're in line to become the lead driver. Keep it up.
Alright, so here we are then on the grid, and before we do anything, just listen to that rain. It is just absolutely pouring it down here in Canada. Heavy rain is forecasted for the weather, as you can see there in the session forecast, but we're actually starting on the intermediate tires, so yeah, it seems like everybody is starting on the inter, so despite the heavy rain, it seems like the intermediate tires are the better tire to be on. And so yeah, that's quite interesting. But yeah, off we go now for the formation lap, and this is the first time this entire weekend that we've had any rain so far. Throughout the duration of all the practice and qualifying sessions, we haven't had any rain. It was all completely dry, and so yeah, this is the first time for me this weekend driving in the rain, so I used this formation lap to kind of get used to the conditions a little bit, as also this is going to be the first wet race of this season. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Starting in third place, what is our pace going to be like in the drive? 5 lights are on and they're out, and away we go now for round 7 of career mode, and we make a pretty good start there, going up through the gears there, and we actually go into the lead of the race there. That was an absolutely great start there from the line. Just the initial launch was so great, and I just short shifted my way up into the lead of the race. So we are now, for the first time in this career mode, leading a race, but it's only lap 1 of 35 as we now come up to the end of the first lap, opening up the second one. We have a very long race ahead of us, and I was just trying to just get into my rhythm, build up my confidence for this first stage of the race, as we now come over the back straight on lap 3. The rain is here to stay, so it looks like we will be having a fully wet race, like also we saw on the weather forecast before the race started. But again, setting the fastest lap there briefly before Lewis Hamilton, who is right behind us, takes over the fastest lap here on lap 4 of this race. Of course, everybody is building up their speed and confidence as we now come through the first couple of quarters, now breaking down into turn 4, I want to say, back then into 4th gear, now opening up the 5th lap of this race, again going purple there, but again immediately this time Kimi Räikkönen, who is in 3rd place, gets the fastest lap there. And now coming through the hairpin on lap 5, you can see still I was trying to break away from the rest of the field, but just Lewis Hamilton and Kimi Räikkönen just didn't let me go, and it was very tough to stay in the lead of this race. So our teammate is also doing a good job in this race, trailing us by just 7 seconds. I think he's in about 7th place, as well as Sebastian Vettel is actually out of the race as we go purple there on the start of lap 6. Again, Lewis Hamilton goes quicker, but Vettel actually retired with a mechanical failure. But now on lap 14, this is the first attack from Lewis Hamilton around the outside into turn 10, but we defend the inside, have a bit of a slide there on the exit as the tires are starting to wear out a little bit. But we maintain the lead of this race so far on lap 17. You can see I was sliding away. The tires are well above 60% in terms of the rears, and on this lap I was really starting to feel the effects of the tire wear, and you can see again having a slide there on the exit of turn 7. So yeah, still in the lead of this race. But I think at the end of this lap, yeah, we are letting Jeff know that we are coming in at the end of this lap. So that is gonna be our first and hopefully only pit stop of this race. Since we are on the intermediate tires, it is going to be a one stop, because the second set of Inter should be able to take us to the end of this race. I actually also had some front ring damage, which I must have hit the hole somewhere early on in this race, but I must have missed it while editing. But anyway, we rejoined the track in P4, but now a few laps later we are back up into P3, and you can see I am pushing because we are going purple as we now come through the second sector, actually closing in on Lewis Hamilton, who actually jumped us in the pits. You can see sending a purple lap there on lap 21 and really catching up to Lewis Hamilton. And I think Jeff actually told me that he was having some kind of mechanical issue which was slowing him down, which meant that I was able to catch him up. You can see the power unit there is also showing some signs of wear, although the tires are still quite fresh. 9% for the fronts and 16 for the rears. I was really spinning up the rear tires in this race. But anyway, now lap 22, we have a little bit of a look there up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, where we think better of it and stay behind him. I wasn't really far enough up alongside the Brit there, so we stay behind again, powering it out of the corner there, out of turn 2, having a little bit of a look up the inside into turn 3, but again backing out of it. Look at how close we are to the rear of Lewis's car as we now come through turn 4, breaking down for turn 5 here. We may go for a lunge up the inside inside, back then into third gear, almost locking up into the part of him, although Lewis will have the inside for turn 6. However, we have a bit of a switchback line there, almost losing the back end into the part of the Englishman. We go up alongside on the straight as we now break down for turn 8, and we managed to make the move stick into P2, and that is us up into the second position in this race, with Kimi Räikkönen still in the lead. You can see Hamilton has actually lost the position to Esteban Ocon as well. So we have a Toro Rosso and a Force India on the podium currently with just 4 laps to go in this race. You can see Daniel Ricciardo there having a puncture. He was going very slowly through the corner there, and that is very unfortunate for him. And as we can see, this is a little bit later on into the lap. He is now crawling over the back straight, just having absolutely no speed with his punctured tire. Yellow flags are out, as well as Magnussen just plows into the back of the Aussie there. And they are both out of the race, which is yeah, very interesting. It didn't even cause a safety car there, which I was very surprised about. Not even a VSC. But now skipping to the final lap of this race, we're still in second place. Esteban Ocon behind us. Kimi Räikkönen has won the race, and we are coming over the back straight for the final time in this race. Lap 35 out of 35, coming through the final chicane in 4th gear. It's all pretty academic now as we come up through the line, and we are gonna take our first podium in this career mode. And there we go, get in.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
Oh, so there we go. That was a really good race. I was so happy when I crossed the line. Just, yeah, really happy to get that podium position and 18 points to add to the championship tally. So, yeah, Kimi Räikkönen, he did an absolutely perfect race. Didn't put a foot wrong in this race, and Esteban Ocon just really impressive as well. From 8th on the grid, managing to get 3rd place there, and Lewis Hamilton falling back to 5th position with that mechanical issue. And Daniel Kvyat also doing really well in 7th place there. So looking at the championship standings, look at how close it is. Lewis Hamilton is still leading. Sebastian Vettel only 3 points behind. He DNF'd in this race, and Kimi Räikkönen is closing in the championship as well, just 14 points behind. I'm now going to round off the video here, because you can see when I was actually ending this career mode, I was really in a rush because I was getting invited to a practice lobby for AOR. So I'm going to round off the video here. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.